Leading us off this hour, NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett and NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris. All right, we got the legal dream team together today. So, Laura, first to you. Walk us through how all of this may play out in court tomorrow, because, as we said, it is not a done deal. Yeah, so even as of this hour, even as when he's in court tomorrow, Mangione can still back out of this until the judge says, you understand you're pleading guilty because you are, in fact, guilty, and he's waiving his right to an appeal. So until that happens, this is all really very fluid. And as we've reported, and Jonathan Deans has broke this, the talks continue, okay? The big thing to recognize here is that prosecutors, I should say, in federal court get a lot out of this being done and being final, right? They're avenging the rights of Brian Thompson's family, who wanted to see this case go to trial. They want to vindicate justice for the family. They want to have this done. As you have talked about, there's also a potential wrinkle with what exactly he's being prosecuted for in federal court. People talk about the killing. He's not being prosecuted for murder in federal court. He's being prosecuted for stalking. There's always been a question mark about whether prosecutors had enough evidence to sustain that type of case. They get something out of him pleading guilty and not running the risk of the jury finding him innocent or exonerating him on that. So that's what the federal prosecutors get out of him pleading guilty. And Misty, let me bring you in. So that's the federal prosecution there. What does this mean for Luigi Mangione in the federal case? How does he benefit? And then also, what does this mean for his state case with jury selection slated for just next month? Well, so just like prosecutors, he would get finality in this federal case, and presumably there would be some benefit to pleading guilty. Maybe it would be prosecutors recommending a lesser sentence than the potential life that he could get if he went to trial. Maybe it's pleading guilty to a lesser charge. We don't know, but there's always some type of bargain that would go into that analysis. But almost more importantly, there's some strategy here, especially with the sequence of events. So we have a potential federal plea tomorrow, an upcoming state trial. Well, a plea in this federal case could mean defense having the ammunition to move to dismiss that state court case on a double jeopardy argument, because the law in New York is a bit more expansive. They have a solid argument there. So if they plead guilty on the federal charge, they maybe have a recommendation for the prosecutors for something less than he could get. Well, then they have the ability to potentially get rid of that state case and have this done in its entirety. I think you use the term judicial efficiency here. So if this plea deal happens in the federal case and then the state case gets waived, this is done. Can he appeal? No. No, but there could be potential appeals issues related to all of this, which is why I think Mangione and actually the prosecutors stand to benefit from getting this sort of all wrapped up in a bow. But if he pleads guilty in the federal court, he will be waiving his right to appeal in that case, which is why prosecutors would want it. But we could see a fight from the prosecutors fighting back on that double jeopardy issue. I don't think they're going to let it go, so there could be another legal issue there. Right. The short story is this is not going to trial likely on September 8th. And we will be watching tomorrow when this all unfolds live right here. Laura Jarrett and Misty Marris, thank you both very much.